Today's news highlights. Date April 17, 2025. News highlights: the United States continues to impose tariffs on China, and Taiwan strictly prevents Chinese goods from being transshipped to the United States through Taiwan's washing place of origin to avoid heavy fines. The Ministry of Finance will offer 3 lines of defense, requiring export certificates in advance, strictly investigating the origin during the event, severely punishing violations after the fact, and discussing the reward for reporting. The Ministry of Economic Affairs monitored the import volume, strengthened anti-dumping investigation and publicity, and fined up to 3 million yuan for violators. In addition, the government has also launched an investigation and reviewed the duty-free measures for small parcels of low-priced beer dumping and e-commerce irregularities in China. News highlights: Harvard is at risk of losing $2.2 billion in federal funding and $60 million in contract grants after rejecting the Trump administration's demands to reform campus management and admissions policies. Harvard's president stressed that the government has no right to interfere with the freedom of teaching and admission to private schools, and criticized the move as a violation of the First Amendment guaranteed freedom of speech and scholarship. To address the potential financial shortfall, Harvard plans to issue $750 million in taxable bonds, bringing the annual debt to $1.2 billion, following the $450 million issuance in March. Trump even suggested that Harvard's tax-exempt status be revoked, and the conflict between the two sides heated up. News highlights: in response to the US-China trade standoff that may extend to the financial sector, Wall Street analysts predict that Chinese concept stocks may be delisted by US exchanges, and JP Morgan Chase and other institutions warn that companies such as Pinduoduo and Vipshop are the most risky. If it is delisted, it may trigger the withdrawal of $11 billion of funds. The Trump administration has stated that it does not rule out delisting and has a number of tools at its disposal. According to the analysis, if it is fully delisted, it will exacerbate the geopolitical tension between China and the United States, and impact the valuation and liquidity of Chinese concept stocks. News highlights: the financial tsunami of 2008 had a far-reaching impact and shaped the investment outlook of millennials and Gen Z. In the face of market turmoil caused by Trump's tariffs, young investors instead saw the market decline as an opportunity, embraced risks and responded calmly. Gen Z starts investing at the age of 19 on average, making good use of digital tools and social media learning, and attaches great importance to multi-asset allocation and long-term layout. Gold, blue chips in the domestic market have become safe haven and value-added targets, believing that time is the biggest advantage, and there is a turning point in the crisis. News highlights: Trump's resumption of the tariff offensive has had a severe impact on Taiwan's export industry, and even if it is suspended for 90 days, companies still have to plan in advance. BCG and KPMG advise Taiwanese companies on import valuation, origin strategy, and supply chain restructuring, as well as evaluating the use of first-time sales declarations and tax incentives for setting up factories in the United States. In the future, high tariffs may become the new normal, and enterprises must strengthen their geopolitical sensitivity, flexibly adjust market and production allocation, avoid risks and diversify risks, and grasp the turnaround under trade restructuring. News highlights: Industry 4.0 promotes the digital transformation of the manufacturing industry, and AWS combines AI, machine learning, and IoT technologies to help enterprises break down data silos and optimize process and energy management. Through AI defect detection, Fushin Special Steel has improved the accuracy of quality control to 90%. Haibang Technology has introduced a smart energy monitoring system to improve power efficiency, and Weiying Technology has applied a hybrid cloud architecture to greatly shorten the deployment time of the new plant. AWS is expected to launch the Taipei region in 2025 to provide local, secure, low-latency cloud services and accelerate the intelligent upgrade of the manufacturing industry. News highlights: U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to revoke Harvard's tax-exempt status if it does not accede to government demands, including closing its diversity offices and cooperating with screening of international students. Previously, Harvard had frozen $2.2 billion in federal aid for refusing the request. Trump accused the campus protest movement of being anti-Semitic and anti-American, and threatened to end federal funding for several universities. Harvard's emphasis on upholding the independence of the university and constitutional rights has led to an escalation of antagonism. News highlights: in order to reduce the index-adjusted turnover rate, the Taiwan Index Company adjusted the compilation rules of the Taiwan Value High Dividend Index it tracks, reducing the number of index adjustment levels from 15 to 10, and revising the market capitalization range and liquidity testing standards. This is intended to reduce transaction costs and help protect the interests of the fund's beneficiaries in the long run. Another Uni-President Taiwan High Dividend Momentum ETF, 00939, has also adjusted its rules for tracking the index. In addition, United Taiwan High Interest Momentum announced the first phase of dividend distribution, with an annualized dividend rate of about 4.53% at 5 cents per unit. News highlights: in retaliation for Trump's tariffs on Chinese goods, Beijing has halted exports of rare earths and magnets, which are vital to the U.S. and military industry, and launched a deeper trade counterattack. Economist Klurman pointed out that China knows how to fight a trade war better than Trump, and the consequences of a trade war in the United States could damage the United States' own supply chain and affect manufacturing. Klurman's analysis pointed out that the agricultural products exported by the United States to China are easy to be replaced, but the industrial products imported by the United States from China are difficult to find alternative sources, and the trade war may lead to higher costs and supply shortages. Trump's trade strategy has been criticized as untactic and difficult to effectively isolate China. News highlights: the Life Insurance Association, AHIA, announced that in the first quarter of this year, the new contract premiums of investment insurance products reached RMB 121.6 billion, a sharp increase of 123.2% over the same period last year, mainly due to the active cooperation between life insurance companies and banks to launch new products, which boosted the sales of investment insurance policies. The total premium income of the life insurance industry increased by 19.9% year-on-year to MOP 670.3 billion, of which new contract premiums increased by 51.3% year-on-year to MOP 270.5 billion. Investment-based insurance products, including investment-based life insurance and annuity insurance, increased by 116.2% and 127.5% year-on-year, respectively. In addition, traditional insurance products also showed growth, especially in response to the US dollar interest rate cuts, which led to an increase in sales. News highlights: US retail sales rose 1.4% in March, beating expectations and posting the biggest increase in 2 years. The main reason is that consumers are rushing to buy cars ahead of the tariffs on imported cars and trucks, which has driven a surge in car sales. Retail sales, excluding automobiles, rose 0.5%. Still, concerns about the economic outlook continue to weigh on discretionary spending, suggesting that the car buying boom that preceded the tariffs had not fully translated into full-blown consumption growth. News highlights: actor Zhang Jiawei came to Taiwan for 10 years to promote the new film Redemption of Dreams, and it was rumored that he was suspected of bringing his wife Guan Young-hee with him, but the agent denied it. Zhang Jiawei kindly spoiled fans, took photos with fans and signed autographs, and tasted Taiwanese food, zhen milk and pineapple cake. In the evening, the premiere and post-screening activities were held at Miramar Cinemas, and a large number of professional and die-hard fans appeared on the scene, and the scene was enthusiastic. Zhang Xiaochuan also appeared for the movie Instrument, interacting with fans, and was star-studded all night. News highlights: the U.S. congressional investigation pointed out that Chinese AI company DeepSeek is suspected of illegally obtaining more than 60,000 NVIDIA chips and violating U.S. export controls. The report pointed out that NVIDIA had revised its chips and transshipped them to China through a third country in order to circumvent the ban, raising national security concerns. The U.S. has listed the H20 chip and investigated whether DeepSeek was transshipped through Singapore. NVIDIA's behavior has been criticized for weakening the effectiveness of policies and intensifying the US-China AI technology war. News highlights: the Taipei District Court tried Kei Wen's case involving Jinghua City and political donations, and today he was arraigned again to continue the preparatory procedures, and Kei, who appeared in court for the first time after surgery, appeared with an almost bald head. Supporters Sayako and Huang Qia came lined up early in the morning to grab a witness testimony, questioning the DPP's use of the judiciary to suppress dissidents. Kei denied the suspicion of the crime, criticized the prosecutor's political persecution, and the trial lasted for 6 hours. Last year, the Beijing Procuratorate indicted Kei for embezzlement and other crimes, seeking 28 years and June in prison, and also imposed a fine and deprivation of public power. News highlights: Lin Boheng, the husband of actress Feng Yuanzhen, known as Kobayashi Chiliang, announced that he would join the ranks of volunteers in the second phase of Taichung's recall to assist the public in submitting joint signatures. He said that as a Taiwanese and a father, he has the responsibility to protect his homeland, and called on him not to be afraid to bow his head in the face of chaos in Congress, and to make a contribution to Taiwan. News highlights: the latest report from the U.S. Congress revealed that Chinese AI company DeepSeek secretly transmitted U.S. user data to the CCP and deliberately suppressed sensitive issues such as Taiwan, and the response was full of censorship and bias. The report criticizes DeepSeek as a tool for controlling public opinion and monitoring by the Chinese Communist Party, which seriously threatens U.S. national security. In February this year, the administrative agency also announced a complete ban on the use of DeepSeek AI services by public agencies to prevent the risk of information leakage and infiltration. News highlights: Ye Tianjian, a well-known Admiralty producer, has produced classic programs such as Little People Rhapsody, praised artists such as Tao Daoyi and Sun Yu, and died of liver cancer on the evening of April 10 at the age of 82. The farewell ceremony was held at the second funeral today. Yu Myron and Chen Karen attended the condolences, and Li Yuan and Zhang Xiaoyan mourned with flower baskets. The ashes will be brought back to the United States by his 4 daughters for burial, completing his deep affection and contribution to Taiwan TV. News highlights: according to the Japan National Tourism Organization, the number of foreign tourists visiting Japan in March this year reached 3.497 million, a record high in a single month, and the number of visitors exceeded 3 million for 6 consecutive months. The total number of passengers in the first quarter exceeded 10.53 million, which was the first time in history. South Korea has the largest number of tourists, followed by China, and Taiwan ranks third with 522,000 tourists. Taiwan's tourist spending reached 316.8 billion yen, second only to China, with an average spending of 195,000 yen per person, and the spending power is high. Tourism consumption has become an important driving force for the Japanese economy. News highlights the local brand Life Factory has been operating in Taiwan for 32 years and once had nearly 100 stores, and it was recently reported that it will completely close its physical stores by the end of this month, and only retain online channels and retail and wholesale in the future. With the shift of consumption habits to online shopping, Life Factory has closed its street-side stores in recent years, and now department stores have also been terminated in advance, setting off nostalgia and sighs among netizens, calling it the tears of another era. News highlights California filed a lawsuit against President Trump's new tariff policy on the 16th, accusing him of abuse of power and hitting the economy hard. Governor Newsom slammed the tariffs as the worst self-inflicted decision in U.S. history, threatening to hit California's trade, agriculture, and tax revenues hard. The White House criticized Newsom for focusing on solving the state's security, homeless and price problems. The lawsuit is the strongest response to Trump's tariff action to date. News highlights U.S. President Trump set off a tariff storm, and Taiwan's footwear industry became the first industry. Xie Jinhe, chairman of Cakes and Media, pointed out that Taiwan's shoe factories have been OEM for brands such as Nike and Adidas for many years, supporting their high gross profits. In the face of the threat of tariffs, Taiwanese companies are strong in diversifying the shoe material supply chain, which is difficult for the United States to replicate. The industry mostly takes a wait-and-see attitude, believing that the final brand owners will bear the cost of tariffs, which is the confidence of Taiwan's footwear industry. News highlights Tainan Mayor Huang Weijia announced that a new anti-fraud system will be piloted at ATMs in some areas from May, requiring that you must take off your mask and helmet to show your full face when withdrawing money or transferring, and if you do not cooperate with the voice reminder, the alarm will be triggered if it does not improve within 10 to 15 seconds. This measure aims to deter fraudulent drivers from collecting stolen money, assist the police in tracing their identities and strengthen the third line of defense against fraud. News highlights the online animation The Life of the Mountain Road Monkey has aroused social concern about the buy now, pay later, BNPL, chaos, and last year, nearly 100 students at Fengchia University were involved in a fraud case. Due to insufficient supervision, the scale of financial leasing business has increased by 6 to 7 in 5 years, and chaos has been frequent. In 2024, the industry will set self-discipline norms and check the blacklist, with business volume declining and customer complaints halved. The FSC expects to include the 4 major leasing companies in the financial insurance law by the end of August, while civil society groups have called for the enactment of a special law to comprehensively rectify the market. News highlights He Zhengxiang suffered a career setback after last year's obstruction of autonomy charges, and although he was finally not prosecuted, he was silent for about 180 days. On the 16th, he finally attended the watch appreciation party, and admitted that he would still drink after the turmoil, but avoid unnecessary occasions, and revealed that the drama invitations continued, but he did not meet his favorite role. Talking about being unemployed for half a year and shouldering the pressure of 2 mortgages, he bluntly said that he relied on savings to survive and his income was unstable, and he had no choice but to laugh at himself. Artists who don't have a job are eating their old books. News highlights recently, doctors have reminded that if you frequently crave chicken cutlets, salted crispy chicken, and sweets, it may be a warning sign of stress or nutritional imbalance. Stress can easily promote excess cortisol, which can lead to a preference for high-calorie foods, which can lead to insulin resistance and depression in the long term. Common chromium deficiency is easy to sweet, magnesium deficiency and B group love to eat chocolate, iron deficiency is used to chewing ice cubes. It is recommended to supplement brown rice, lean meat, dark green vegetables and nuts, adjust the stress of life, and consult a professional if necessary to avoid health deterioration. News highlights Lulu Huang Luzian attended the Zihaniar Foundation event on the 16th, and admitted that she had no contact with her former master Huang Zijiao, and did not think that he had the need to make a comeback, and cared about the situation of Meng Zhengru and the child. When it comes to relationships, she became friends after breaking up with Ada, but it still takes time for her ex Zhang Rufa to do so. In response to the PR turmoil, Lulu shared that the gift was brought to the church for exchange, and called on manufacturers to reduce excessive packaging and pay attention to environmental protection. News highlights President Lai Ching-te said that Taiwan's Defense Department has submitted a list of arms purchases to the U.S. side, and the Army plans to purchase 30 attack Black Hawk helicopters and modify the existing Black Hawk to strengthen the armed capability that can carry Hellfire missiles, rockets, and cannons, so as to enhance the combat response in the Taiwan Strait. The American-made attack Black Hawk is equipped with a night combat helmet, EO/IR reconnaissance lenses, and a number of weapon pylons, and the firepower has been greatly upgraded to make up for the shortage of airstrike carriers. News highlights: in the final battle of the Dodger-Rocky series, Shohei Ohtani hit a home run in the opening slot, and hit the 6th hit of the season, helping the Dodgers tie the game 1-1. He locked onto Rocky pitcher Marquez's red midfield and blasted out a cannon in the right field, hitting the ball at an initial velocity of 178 km and covering a distance of 427 feet. Then, Freeman also fired, helping the Dodgers quickly lead 2-1, and in the follow-up bombardment, Ohtani knocked another hit, allowing Marquez to drop 7 points after only 0.2 innings. News highlights: the US government announced that the export of Nvidia's H20 chips to China requires a license first, causing Nvidia to recognize a loss of about $5.5 billion, and causing the stock price to crash by 6.87%, evaporating its market value by $188 billion. The US side is concerned that the H20 chip could be used by China for supercomputer development, which in turn could have military use. Although the Trump administration had dropped restrictions, the Biden administration's sudden tightening of restrictions shocked markets. Nvidia analysts expect a larger revenue loss of $10 billion in the coming quarters. In addition to Nvidia, AMD is also affected by the new export regulations. News highlights: Ye Tianjian, a well-known producer of Admiralty, died of liver cancer on the 10th at the age of 82, and a farewell ceremony was held on the 17th. Chen Karen assisted the family. Zhang Xiaoyan, Yu Miran, Bao Kuiying, Ji Lei, Li Mingro, and others greeted and mourned. Ye Tianjian is warm and humorous, and the ashes will be brought back to the United States by his 4 daughters for burial after cremation. News highlights: director Ruan Fenji joined hands with Li Mu and Yu Zia to shoot the microfilm Unspoken Words for Olay. At the press conference, Li Mu and Yu Zia were moved to tears when they heard their mother's message, and the atmosphere was warm. The two shared their family stories with their mothers, and also expressed their gratitude and love for their mothers, which resonated. News highlights: in order to challenge herself, billionaire singer Lin Xinyi participated in bodybuilding competitions for 8 months and won 3 championships, during which she experienced physical and mental suffering such as gastroesophageal reflux and emergency treatment. She hopes to break the stereotype of female artists must be thin through fitness, and also emphasized that she has not quit the music scene, and will launch a new work this year to drive the people around her to live a healthy life together. News highlights: Zhao Lucy recently attended a Friends brand event, and her red-haired and red dress made a stunning debut, which attracted the attention of the outside world. This is one of the few public appearances she has made since she fell ill, and although she was questioned about plastic surgery, fans still supported her beauty as before. After experiencing health turmoil such as aphasia and anxiety, she gradually returned and worked hard to make a comeback. News highlights: the leader of the Lace Georgina actor Michelle Sparrowberg passed away at home in February this year at the age of 39. The medical examiner recently confirmed that the cause of death was a complication of diabetes and ruled out homicide. Her health condition has attracted attention during her lifetime, and she has not produced many works in recent years, and her last performance was a cameo in the new version of The Lace Master to return to the classic role. News highlights: Kay Wenz, the former chairman of the People's Party, was prosecuted by the prosecutor in the 2 major cases of Jinghua City and political donations. Since this morning, 17th, is the day of Kay Wenz's second trial, he was arraigned to the North Court, and this is also the first time Kay Wenz has appeared after surgery. When the prisoner truck entered the North Courtyard, many supporters Sayako shouted "Come on outside," and Kay Wenz also appeared bald again, and the relevant pictures were also exposed. News highlights: those born at the time of childhood, the time of the month, the time of noon and the time of the unitary are considered to be born with the characteristics of attracting money and good life, each with keen intuition, creative action, leadership and management skills and social skills, which can stand out in the workplace and wealth, grasp opportunities and achieve stable growth and successful life. News highlights: Song Jianliang, the leader of the recall of the Green Committee, wore a Nazi armband and performed a Nazi salute when he went to the district prosecutor's office, which drew condemnation from the whole Taiwan and Germany. The Kuomintang cut sharply, emphasizing that it was not a member of the Youth League. Song choked, "If you don't expel the Communist Party, why should you expel me?" which caused more political turmoil and controversy. News highlights: Luo's Haiqiang became the first legislator in Taiwan to reach the second-order recall threshold, due to frequent political controversies, doubts about his integrity, and strong deployment of recall groups. The joint signature quickly reached the standard, showing the dissatisfaction and backlash of grassroots public opinion. News highlights: Chinese influencer Deng Xuanmad recently swept away high-end ingredients and insulted staff and customers when he challenged an all-you-can-eat restaurant in a Japanese restaurant, and even called his behavior a lesson to the devil. The move has caused widespread controversy, and although some extreme fans support it, it has also been condemned by a large number of Chinese netizens, who believe that its behavior is a humiliation of the image of the Chinese people. Many people initiated a censorship campaign and checked in on major platforms, criticizing this racist behavior and strongly demanding that the film be taken off the shelves. News highlights: Lu's Hixian, Lu Boss, became popular for his racing achievements and broke the Asian record with turtle fighting in 2022, which attracted attention. After that, he expanded his career into the restaurant industry, but due to frequent disputes, some franchises chose to close. Recently, Liao Boss announced that he would stop using Facebook and turn to China's Douyin platform for live broadcasts, which caused many fans to be disgusted and expressed their rejection of Douyin. After seeing the reaction of fans, Liao Boss hurriedly changed his words and said that he would keep Facebook and continue to update it, which was welcomed by supporters. News highlights: Ho Pishan recently went to China to develop, participated in riding the Wine 2025 and successfully served as the captain, and won a large number of fan support. Recently, she was flocked to fans at the filming site, and some mobile phone lenses were too close to accidentally capture Ho Pishan's true state. In the picture, her hairstyle reveals fatigue, and the hair seams and details are magnified, which makes many netizens care and leave messages to encourage her to continue to work hard. Despite this, Ho remained elegant and continued to deal with the frenzied fan enthusiasm. News highlights: a veteran in his 80s was intubated due to sepsis and could not speak, but he still managed to write the word lucky, which touched the hearts of the family. It turned out that Lucky was a dog that had been with him for 9 years, and his family brought photos and voices to comfort him, and he finally passed away with a smile. Nurse Lin Ting sighed that the ICU is full of challenges, but the world is full of true feelings, making every subtle action extremely precious. News highlights: South Korean media personality Yoo Young-jae married actor Seon Yoo Yun-suk in 2022, but the marriage ended in less than a year because Yoo Young-jae molested Seon Yoo Yun-suk's own sister. Yoo Young-jae was charged with forcibly molesting woman A 5 times in 2023 and pleaded guilty in court, publicly apologized and expressed repentance. The verdict in the first instance was 2 years and 6 months, and after Yoo Young-jae appealed, the prosecution asked for a 5-year sentence, and the final verdict will be announced on June 11. News highlights: Hong Kong people love instant noodles, but some of them may contain dangerous ingredients. Expert Dr. Huang pointed out that Vietnamese instant noodles often contain carcinogens Sudan dyes and ethylene oxide, so red and orange seasoning powders should be avoided. It is recommended to remove the water used to cook the noodles for the first time to reduce the additives. Dried vegetables containing harmful substances should be avoided, and natural onions, garlic, vegetables, etc. can be added to improve nutrition. Pregnant women and children should be especially careful and avoid long-term consumption of instant noodles and carbonated drinks. News highlights: Xia Yuhi was recently photographed interacting intimately with singer Li Shenjia and was accused of being drunk. Xia Yuhi responded through his agent, saying that it was the first time he met Li Shenjia that day, and he only helped support the drunk Li Shenjia, emphasizing that he was still single. However, then some media broke the news that she and her ex-boyfriend Gino did not break up, and they were photographed dining together on the 11th. Gino responded through Facebook on the 16th, explaining the situation that day, saying that he just went to the restaurant to pick up things, and stressed that there are monitors to prove the facts, calling for public figures to be given the right to speak out. News highlights: an incident occurred in a primary school in Daewon where a boy's hands and feet were tied to a chair, and after the news was exposed, it attracted the attention of netizens and accused the director of school affairs of being involved. It is learnt that the boy was emotionally unstable and the school used a strap to secure his hands and feet to ensure safety. After a preliminary understanding, the Education Bureau indicated that the school had informed and stressed the need to strengthen care and counseling, but whether there was any inappropriate behavior or inappropriate words and deeds would be further investigated. Netizens called on parents to file a complaint and demand that the relevant responsible persons be severely punished. News highlights: recently, the prosecutor investigated the death signature case and searched the Kuomintang Zhongshan and Datong party offices in the 4th district of Taipei City on Chongchun Road in Taipei. Huang Lu Jinru, chairman of the party department, was also taken away. The Taipei District Prosecutor's Office is investigating the recall of the Green Committee, interviewing a number of people involved in the case and posting bail. The new Taipei District Prosecutor's Office also conducted an investigation into the recall case and searched the new Taipei City Party office. Kuomintang Chairman Zhu Liluang criticized this, accusing the prosecution of favoring the Green Camp and launching protests. News highlights: Ma Qiaobi owed 50 million yuan in debt due to signing a gambling contract in 2013, and after selling the house to pay off the debt, there was still 6 million left unpaid. He appeared in Lingkou last year as a mover to make money, and said that he had resigned, and after filming a new movie, he actively looked for part-time work on the part-time job platform Worky he founded, earning about a few thousand yuan. He would use his spare time when he didn't have a show job to work as a hotel counter or restaurant service, and thanked his creditors for their tolerance. Despite his meager income, he struggled to pay off his debts and planned to compete in triathlons. News highlights: a store in Muxing Street Market, Xinyi District, Taipei City, attracted public attention for selling counterfeit goods, especially the price of Nike sneakers of NT $800 to attract attention. The police raided the store on the 16th and found a large number of counterfeit goods, including clothing and shoes, and immediately recorded the evidence. The store is suspected of violating the trademark law, All counterfeit goods have been seized, and the case has been transferred to the Taipei District Prosecutor's Office for investigation. The incident sparked discussion among netizens, who pointed out that similar acts of selling counterfeit goods have also been found in other markets. News highlights U.S. President Donald Trump's demand for global countries to take sides, in favor of the U.S. or China, in order to isolate China, is an extreme policy that is causing resentment in Europe. A growing number of European politicians, even the far right, are tired of Trump's erratic policies and are choosing to work with China. Europeans see Trump's America First policy as destabilizing traditional alliances and making Europe more pragmatic in its approach to China. Some politicians have described the relationship with Trump as a terror lover, and Europe is determined to seek more economic cooperation with China. News highlights internet celebrity Tozi Lu Wujian was dining at the restaurant of his brother Huang Bacheo in January. While criticizing the vinegar rice as unpalatable, a physical altercation broke out. Tozi suffered a head injury and sued Huang Bacheo and his employees, and the court sentenced Huang Bacheo to 6 months in prison. Recently, the Bofi International Co., Limited, run by Chao Ji and his wife, was accused of forging documents and transferring the company's vehicle to an employee without permission. The broker responded that he would be informed. News highlights the re-election of the chairman of the Kuomintang is about to take place, and the current chairman, Zhu Lailun, has not yet said whether he will be re-elected. Sun Jianping, a member of the Standing Committee of the CPC Central Committee, and Zhou Boiwan, former Zhonghua County Magistrate, have announced their candidacy, while Taichung Mayor Liu Zaihuan is also rumored to be a possible candidacy, and has received support from Wang Jinping and Li Qianlong. Liu Zaihuan has said that she will wait until the July general recall before deciding whether to run for election, and may adopt the Zhu Lailun model to promote Hao Longbin as Secretary General. The Kuomintang said it welcomed all those who were interested in participating in party affairs. News highlights as the U.S.-China trade war heats up, the Trump administration imposes high tariffs on China, a strategy that economics laureate John Clerman strongly criticizes, warning that the U.S. will fall into passivity and even damage the lifeblood of the economy. He believes that U.S. imports of Chinese goods are critical to maintaining the industrial chain, and that the trade war could lead to supply shortages. Clerman also questioned Trump's strategy of isolating China, arguing that such a move would be difficult to succeed and warned that the United States could lose international trust and cause even greater damage if it undertook the wrong policy. News highlights columnist Nicole Ruan pointed out that during the conversation with OpenAI's ChatGPT, the AI learned a lot of personal information, but also reminded users to be cautious about sharing, especially sensitive data such as ID cards, medical results, financial account numbers, business information, and account passwords. AI chatbots can help, but there is also a risk of hacker theft or data exfiltration. AI researchers suggest that users should use strong passwords and multi-factor authentication to protect their accounts and avoid inadvertently revealing personal privacy or trade secrets. News highlights some people face challenges when they are young, but these difficulties accumulate experience and wisdom for later kingfu. The ox is diligent and tenacious, the tiger is adventurous, the dragon strives for excellence, and the rooster pays attention to details. Their hard work and perseverance at a young age allowed them to enjoy a stable and happy life in their later years. News highlights Taiwan's parent-child paradise Chasing the Wind Fantasy Island Taipei Carrefour store announced its closure less than 3 months after its opening, and closed the store without warning, which made parents angry. Some parents have already purchased tickets and stored value cards, even as high as $10,000. The park explained that due to zoning restrictions and the government's failure to pass the relevant review, it will suspend business and promise a refund. The local competent authority has fined the operator 60,000 yuan. Parents questioned whether it was a malicious bankruptcy and were concerned about the issue of refunds for stored value cards. News highlights the re-election of the chairman of the Kuomintang will be held this year, and the current chairman, Zhu Lailun, has not yet said whether he will run for re-election. Sun Jianping, a member of the Standing Committee of the CPC Central Committee, and Zhou Boiwan, the former county magistrate of Zhonghua, have announced their candidacy, and the most concerned is the movement of Taichung Mayor Liu Zaihuan. It is rumored that Wang Jinping and Li Qianlong have run for Liu Zaihuan, and Liu Zaihuan has also stated that he will run, but it will be officially announced after the end of the general recall and the announcement of the election schedule. In addition, if Liu runs, Hao Longbin may become the Secretary General. News highlights supervising Dean Chenju was hospitalized for a checkup due to health problems, and was found to have a kidney tumor and cerebral blood vessel blockage, and the former President Tsai Ing-wen and Vice President Su Mei-chin went to visit. Ke Jianming, chief of the DPP Legislative Yuan Caucus, also wanted to visit, but did not see Chenju. Media person Luo Wangj pointed out that the two have long had a knot, especially after the 2022 9-in-1 election. Ke Jianming once criticized the Jew department for controlling the party's personnel and accused the Jew department of being responsible for the election defeat, and then the two deepened their grievances. News highlights U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order directing an investigation into the national security implications of importing and processing critical minerals and their downstream products, including semiconductors, electric vehicles, smartphones, and more. The move is based on Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962 and aims to address the U.S. dependence on imports from countries such as China. The survey will assess U.S. weaknesses in the processing of minerals such as cobalt, nickel, and rare earths, and explore ways to strengthen domestic supply. The order reflects an escalating U.S. strategy on trade and national security. News highlights Taiwan's housing market has been under pressure recently, with downward pressure on housing prices due to the central bank's crackdown on property speculation and Trump's tariffs. The construction project of New Taipei Bangqiao, Binhe Daijing, took the lead in launching a 7% discount, indicating that the builder may become a new trend of profit. Experts pointed out that although the housing market rebounded for a short time, the big stock market crash in April dragged down the market again, and concessions may become a consensus. If the builder is sincere in making profits, it will help to increase the transaction volume, which is beneficial to both the industry and consumers. News highlights columnist Nicole Ruan pointed out that during the conversation with OpenAI's ChatGPT, the AI learned a lot of personal information, but also reminded users to be cautious about sharing, especially sensitive data such as ID cards, medical results, financial account numbers, business information, and account passwords. AI chatbots can help, but there is also a risk of hacker theft or data exfiltration. AI researchers suggest that users should use strong passwords and multi-factor authentication to protect their accounts and avoid inadvertently revealing personal privacy or trade secrets. News highlights DPP legislator Shen Boyang recently posted on Facebook, saying that he received a threatening letter threatening to do something to his wife and daughter, with a photo of his wife and death threats, threatening to make his daughter a second little light bulb, and asking Shen Boyang to quit politics. In response, Mr. Shen said it was the first time he had received threats against his family, stressing that such behavior resembled the Communist Party's methods. Shen has called the police to deal with it, and hopes to find out the person behind the scene as soon as possible. He believes he has been targeted for exposing the truth about Congress and supporting the recall. News highlights as the recall war heats up, the leader Li Meiling is accused of using government subsidies to set up a recall group, and the Kuomintang has questioned the financial operation behind it. Li Meiling responded that if there is any lawlessness, it is welcome to report. On the other hand, Zhu Lei was investigated for being involved in a false joint signature case, and he said that he acted according to the party's instructions, which caused controversy. DPP legislator Suze Hija criticized Zhu Lei's behavior for resembling Communist Party ideology and called for a thorough investigation. News highlights China Airlines flight CI-67 was originally scheduled to arrive in Prague on the morning of the 16th, but due to poor visibility and lack of fuel, it was diverted to Linz Airport in Austria. After waiting for 2 hours, the bridge was delayed again and they arrived in Prague 10 hours later than scheduled. During the process, China Airlines provided light meals and beverages, and allowed business-class passengers to use the airport lounges, which eased the passengers' emotions. China Airlines said the delay was caused by bad weather and responded quickly. News highlights the Supervisory Yuan recently issued a statement raising concerns about the background of Sea Limited, the parent company of Shopee shopping platform, pointing out that its major shareholder is Hong Kong Tencent, and the current directors are highly related to CCP politicians and businessmen, which may involve Chinese backgrounds and may affect the safety of Chinese people's personal information and cash flow. The Supervisory Committee has applied for an automated investigation, requesting an in-depth understanding of Shopee's information security mechanism in Taiwan and whether it has been reviewed and supervised in accordance with the law. Shopee has responded that the largest investments come from Singapore and the United States, and there are no national security concerns. News highlights Defense Minister Gu Liqiang revealed that 2 of the 62 national officers and soldiers are volunteers and hold residence permits in Chinese mainland. Guan Bailing, chairman of the Oceanic Committee, said that 3 members of the Coast Guard used to hold Chinese residence permits, which they obtained before recruitment, but have now been cancelled in accordance with the law. She stressed that the members had no access to sensitive information and that none of the Coast Guard members held Chinese residence permits or passports. News highlights the Central Meteorological Administration said that today, 17th, Taiwan's southerly wind, the high temperature during the day can reach 31 to 32 degrees, the eastern half of the temperature is about 27 to 28 degrees, and the low temperature at night is 18 to 21 degrees, and it is cool in the morning and evening. There may be brief showers in the eastern half, Hengchun Peninsula, and the mountainous areas in the afternoon. In the next few days, there will be localized short showers or thunder showers in various places from 4/18 to 4/22, and there will be frontal influence on April 19 and 4/23, and the temperature will drop. The air quality forecast shows a red alert for the north and an orange alert for other areas. News highlights U.S. stocks fell on the 16th, with Nvidia and TSMC ADR falling 6.87% and 3.6% respectively, and Taiwan stocks fell more than 250 points after opening lower. However, Some gold stocks rose against the trend, with Wang Xinhua, Chuanhu, and Xiangshuo performing strongly. Chuanhu's revenue hit a record high in March, and it is looking forward to setting up factories in the United States and Europe. Xiangshuo benefited from AMD's demand, and its stock price rose 5% at one point. Under the Treasury stock plan, the share price of Yunanj Technology once exceeded 1,000 gold, but the selling pressure of the market has increased, and it remains to be seen whether it can hold the list of thousands of gold. News highlights: Taiwan's housing market has been under pressure recently, with downward pressure on housing prices due to the central bank's crackdown on property speculation and Trump's tariffs. The construction project of New Taipei Bangqiao, Binhe Daijing, took the lead in launching a 7% discount, indicating that the builder may become a new trend of profit. Experts pointed out that although the housing market rebounded for a short time, the big stock market crash in April dragged down the market again, and concessions may become a consensus. If the builder is sincere in making profits, it will help to increase the transaction volume, which is beneficial to both the industry and consumers. News highlights: US President Donald Trump's tariffs of up to 245% on China have sparked global panic, but China has remained uncompromising. Xi Jinping has successfully responded to US pressure with 8 Trump cards, including actively expanding trade markets, substituting American goods, strengthening the military industry and rare earth advantages. The Chinese side stressed that the dialogue must be equal and will not back down in the tariff war, and even warned the US that there will be no winner in the tariff war, showing that China has a firm position and will not give in easily. News highlights: according to a market survey released by Zuzan magazine on the 17th, the wind direction of the real estate market turned into a stable green light in March, and the number of pre-sold houses, the number of new existing houses and the transaction volume all increased, but the sales period was still extended to more than half a year, and the bargaining rate was flat. Although some new cases performed well, such as the 10 billion yuan case in Bangqiao district of New Taipei City and Datuong district of Taipei City, most of the new cases were carefully promoted, and the gap between the opening price and the transaction price was not large. Experts warn that economic risks still need to be paid attention to, and there are still challenges to the revival of confidence in the housing market. News highlights: Fed Chair Jerome Powell said the Fed will not adjust interest rates until more economic data is available. He was cautious that Trump's tariffs could trigger inflation and employment off target, noting that tariffs could exacerbate price rises and weaken economic growth in the labor market. He stressed that the market is volatile but working well, and made it clear that the Fed will not intervene in the stock market. He also pointed out that despite the slowdown in U.S. economic growth, it remains solid, but the uncertainty of trade policy is weighing on market confidence. News highlights: Superintendent Chen Zhu was hospitalized for influenza at the end of last year and was found to have a tumor in her right kidney and a cerebral vascular blockage. Former President Tsai Ing-wen and others have gone south to visit, but the DPP caucus summoned KG Unming to visit on the 16th but did not see Chen Zhu. Media person Luo Wangj pointed out that there was a knot between the two, and mentioned that KG Unming had criticized the chrysanthemum system after the 2022 9-in-1 election and blamed Chen Zhu for the defeat. In addition, when Chen Zhu served as the Dean of Supervision, KG Unming's attitude towards his support was vague, which also deepened the rift between the two. News highlights: the U.S. House of Representatives released a report pointing out that Chinese AI startup DeepSeek uses more than 60,000 NVIDIA chips, some of which should be controlled by the United States and may be obtained by circumventing export restrictions. The report revealed that NVIDIA instructed the design modification chips to be sold to China on the eve of export controls, while DeepSeek and other mainland companies also transshipped controlled chips through third countries. The report stresses that this poses a threat to U.S. national security and has raised questions that NVIDIA may help circumvent regulations. News highlights: recently, a photo circulated on social media platforms alleging that La's son was sworn in as a U.S. citizen by the U.S. Immigration Service. After verification, Taiwan's fact-checking center found that the picture was altered, and the man in the original image was actually a Bhutanese naturalized American, not Lai Qing's son. The inspection center also pointed out that Lai Qing's eldest son has no foreign nationality, and the second son does not hold a U.S. residence permit, and the presidential office has confirmed that there are no relevant facts. News highlights: recently, the prosecution investigation of the false joint signature case and the search of the Kuomintang New Taipei City and Taipei City Party headquarters have aroused concern. Kuomintang Chairman Chu Lilun strongly criticized the government at a press conference, accusing the judiciary of suppressing opposition parties under the control of those in power, and claiming that this is a major threat to Taiwan's democracy. He stressed that the DPP is trying to eliminate all opposition forces, and called on the whole people to stand up and resist and support justice and democracy. He foresaw a series of protests until those in power return to democracy and fairness. News highlights: recently, U.S. President Donald Trump has repeatedly claimed that the tariff policy will bring $2 billion, about $65 billion, to the United States every day. However, according to the U.S. Customs and Treasury Department, since the partial tariffs came into effect on April 5, the actual tariff revenue collected is only $200 million to $300 million US, about NT $6.5 billion to $9.75 billion per day, far less than Trump's expectations. Moreover, while White House trade advisor Navalo has estimated that the tariffs will bring in $600 billion in annual revenue, most economists believe the actual figure will be much lower than that, estimating that it could be only $100 billion to $200 billion. News highlights: a citizen was unable to clear customs smoothly due to the suspected damage of the passport he had just issued, and finally needed to urgently reapply for a passport and rebuy a ticket, with a loss of more than 10,000 yuan. Experts caution that passports need to be used and preserved carefully, as damage will affect the itinerary and may encounter delays or restrictions on future renewals. Passengers should refrain from stamping, signing, or drawing on the inside of the passport to avoid affecting the validity of the passport. News highlights: Taipei 101 chairman Jia Yongzhi was recently criticized by Wang Zhimin as chairman of the drama for taking a photo with Taichung Mayor Liu Ziyuan and questioned her ability. Jia Yongzhi posted a rebuttal, emphasizing that the word drama carries historical discrimination, criticizing verbal violence on the internet, and demanding an apology from Wang Zhimin. She said such remarks were insulting not only to her, but also to women and all performing arts workers. News highlights: according to the inventory of Soho.com, the zodiac rabbit, ox, rooster, and tiger have a particularly smooth fortune in the year of the snake. Rabbit people tend to be wealthy, and can get extra income from financial management. People who belong to the ox have the help of nobles and are promoted smoothly in the workplace. Rooster people are wise, and their careers and wealth are abundant. Tiger people have flexible minds, can innovate and solve problems, and have breakthroughs in their careers. Each zodiac sign can achieve their dreams through hard work. News highlights: Jim Stauffer, a man from Arizona, USA, sued a body donation company for reselling his mother's donated body to the U.S. military for bomb testing without permission. Stauffer's mother, who died in 2013, donated her body to aid in Alzheimer's disease research, but he later discovered that the body had been illegally trafficked and used for military experiments. The incident revealed the legal gray area of the body donation industry and sparked a wide discussion about the transparency and ethics of the donation system. The case is still pending. News highlights today: the whole Taiwan is mostly sunny to cloudy and stable weather, with only brief showers in the eastern half, Hengchun Peninsula, and mountainous areas. The day is warm and comfortable, with high temperatures of 29 to 32 degrees in the western half and 27 to 28 degrees in the eastern half. Cloudiness will increase tomorrow with brief showers in the north from early morning to the morning, and thunder showers north of central and mountainous areas in the afternoon. The weather will be unstable over the weekend, with more moisture on Saturday, thunder showers in the north on Sunday, and cloudy in other areas. The weather will continue to change next week, and the whole Taiwan will turn wet and cool with thunder showers from Wednesday. News highlights: Dove recently uploaded a picture of Sun Sheng lying on a stretcher on social media, with the caption "Oops, it hurts," causing fans to worry. The footage shows the ambulance parked in a residential area, and emergency personnel are helping the suspected Sun Sheng confirm the stability of the stretcher. At the same time, some netizens exposed photos of her boyfriend meeting her in the emergency room on Threads, which made everyone concerned about the situation. News highlights: the state of California announced that it has filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration's tariff policy, criticizing the Trump administration's abuse of tariff policy as illegal and causing serious chaos and damage to the U.S. economy. California became the first state in the nation to sue the Trump administration over tariffs. News highlights: an accident occurred at the King Kong Gong Air Base in Taichung this morning, July 17, with a Mirage 2000 fighter. During a routine training mission, the fighter flashed a warning light suspected of being due to a mechanical malfunction, and the pilot immediately activated the braking procedure and gave up taking off. Fortunately, there were no casualties. The Air Force Command said it would carry out overhauls and find out the cause of the accident to ensure that the aircraft was in good condition. News highlights: as the U.S.-China trade war continues to heat up, Trump has said he wants to speak with Xi Jinping, but believes that it should be proposed by the Chinese side. The Chinese side stressed that dialogue should be based on mutual respect and called for substantive discussions on sanctions and the Taiwan issue. Some high-level U.S. officials have criticized China, causing dissatisfaction in Beijing. The Chinese side stressed that it would be difficult to hold meetings at the leadership level without achieving tangible results, and hoped that the U.S. side would face up to its national security concerns, especially the Taiwan issue. News highlights: Won Zhongman, real name, Seo Won-zhong, a well-known TikTok and YouTube male internet celebrity in South Korea, was sentenced to 1 year and 6 months in prison, suspended for 2 years, for allegedly sexually assaulting a woman in July 2023. After the case occurred, Seo reached a settlement with the victim and commuted his sentence in the second instance. The Supreme Court dismissed the appeal and upheld the original verdict. Seo has tens of millions of followers on social media and was once selected by Forbes as one of the 30 most influential people under 30 in Asia. The case attracted attention from the outside world, and there was a discussion about the stagnation of Seo's social platform update. News highlights: actress Xia Yuhi was recently revealed to have interacted closely with the 52-year-old Prince of Love Songs Lee Shenjia, and at the same time dated her ex-boyfriend Gino 4 days later, which attracted attention. Gino issued a clarification on the 16th, saying that he and Xiaoyu only met briefly on the evening of the 11th, and it was not a date, but went to pick up things and chatted for about 10 minutes before leaving. He also stressed that all the details can be confirmed by the store's monitor, and invited readers who broke the news to confront him, stressing that they should not be misunderstood out of context. News highlights SHINA member Teeman and dancer Nozi have once again sparked a love scandal due to the exposure of photos of suspected intimate interactions. In response, Teeman's agency Big Planet Made responded on the 17th, emphasizing that the two were just good colleagues who had worked together for a long time and denied a romantic relationship. Previously, the two had many scandals due to their joint working relationship. The brokerage company also apologized for the delay in clarifying due to the busy schedule, and implored the outside world to avoid excessive speculation. News highlights Chen Fengyu recently uploaded photos of her activities in Taichung, which attracted the surprise of many netizens, saying, "Are you getting thinner and thinner?" In the photo, her face is significantly thinner, her chin is sharper, and she shows a more V-shaped face. On the same day, she wore a coffee-colored sleeveless vest with a light coffee-colored skirt and black boots, revealing a slender waist and a well-proportioned thigh line, which surprised fans. News highlights Ye Zilin, a sexy goddess in Hong Kong, recently made a rare appearance at Zheng Hiwei's 72nd birthday banquet, and became the focus of the audience with her hot body. At the age of 58, she still maintains an enviable frozen beauty, with short blonde hair with a tight yellow cheongsam and over-the-knee boots, showing a convex and backward S-curve, with equal emphasis on temperament and sexiness, which is not at all inferior to the style of the year. Her slender long legs and stunning shape make her one of the most eye-catching guests at the birthday party, and she still looks extremely charming under the lens without filters. News highlights a young stock god who once earned hundreds of millions of dollars by leveraged investment was liquidated in the stock market crash caused by Trump's tariffs. He warned investors, "The most toxic thing about the market is not to let you lose, but to let you win for too long. Emphasize the importance of risk management, and do not overconfidence and ignore risks." News highlights Sti, a 55-year-old woman in Indonesia's southeast Sulawesi province, was swallowed alive by a 7-meter python in her vegetable garden. Villagers and the police worked together to kill the python, but Sti was killed, and the incident shocked the local community. News highlights on the 14th, a pit bull bit dead Shiba Inu incident occurred in Niapu Township, Pingtung, which aroused social concern. Shiba Inu Po was attacked by a neighbor pit bull while walking, and although he was rescued, he still died of his injuries, and the pit bull also died on the way to the hospital. The pit bull owner not only did not apologize, but questioned Shiba Inu's provocation and threatened to file a lawsuit, and the dispute between the two sides continued to burn. News highlights Thai numerologist Moore Play predicted last year that a major earthquake would strike Myanmar in March and April this year, which recently came true, killing more than 3,500 people. Her latest forecast pointed out that there may be an earthquake in Japan in July and August this year, but the disaster is not as serious as 311. It also warned that there will be floods and local earthquakes in Thailand, and tourist hotspots must be protected from gunshots and mass accidents. News highlights Wu Zijia, chairman of the Beautiful Island Electronic News, was accused of blatant insult for angrily scolding K-Wens and others as bastards and miscellaneous during the live broadcast, and pleaded guilty at the court today, 16th, and asked for a lighter sentence. In addition, with regard to the defamation part, the prosecution argued that it involved public interests and did not constitute a crime, and did not prosecute.